In this video, I'm going to talk about one of the most important aspects of how to build a consulting business. So let's get into it. A lot of folks resist this because they don't want to limit themselves. But the fact of the matter is, picking a target market or 2 to 3 target markets is one of the most important parts of building a consulting business, because Earth is not a target market. Humans are not a target market. As a small business owner, you have limited time, you have limited budget. And listen, if even the largest consulting companies in the world, if the Deloittes and the Accentures have to pick target markets to focus on, trust me, you do as well. The good news is it doesn't have to be so limiting that you feel like you are playing in too small of a pond. So let's take a look at some of the broad target categories that you should be thinking about for your consulting business. You could focus on large enterprises, on mid-markets, on small enterprises, well-funded startups, corporates, higher education, government clients, at the local, state, provincial, or national level, nonprofits, or healthcare. But even within this list, you can and should get more specific. So let's look at an example where we narrow by industry and/or market segment. And let's say the market segment that we start with is healthcare. Well, healthcare is really, really big and could mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Within healthcare, you might choose to focus on large hospital systems or community hospitals or medical practices or dental practices or imaging centers or diagnostic testing centers. Each and every one of these markets is large and has a lot of revenue to spend and has a lot of problems and challenges that they need support with. Let's take a look at one more example. Let's say you decide that you want to focus on corporate, but within corporates, what type of corporates? Well, let's say you choose to focus in the automotive space. All right, but are you talking to the OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers, the Toyotas, the BMWs, and the Mercedes of the world? Or are you talking to all of their suppliers, the folks who build all of the pieces that make up that vehicle? Are you talking to the small enterprises inside the automotive market, the mid-markets, or those with US headquarters? It's an important question to ask yourself so that you know where you should be speaking, which podcasts you should be listening to and pitching yourself as an expert on, which publications you should be reading, which companies you need to be connected to on LinkedIn. If you don't answer this question as to where you're focusing on in the marketplace, you're literally trying to market to the world. It's a really expensive and frustrating thing to do. I don't recommend it. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, Angelique, that's true. I get that, but I don't know how to zero in on where I should focus. And I feel like I should focus over here, but maybe it's over here, and I'm feeling really overwhelmed and indecisive about it. The great news is there are so many right answers. There are more right answers than there are wrong answers. But there are some really key questions that you can ask yourself to make sure that you are selecting a profitable target market or multiple profit target markets. So here are some great questions to ask yourself. First and foremost, is there enough of them in the market? If you end up getting too narrow in your focus, you're not going to have a large enough marketplace to go after. Doesn't mean you can't focus on those organizations. It just means that you need to have multiple target markets, not one. Second, can you easily find them? I once had a small business owner come and ask me if it was a good idea or a bad idea to focus on organizations who were thinking about doing, and it was a really obscure thing that she was asking about. And I said to her, well, there's nothing wrong with working with organizations that are considering taking that action in their organization, but how would you know? How would you ever find those organizations in the market. It's not like they walk around with a name badge that says, hey, internally we're talking about doing X, Y, and Z. So really important that you can find your target market. And by finding them, I mean you can find them on LinkedIn, you can find them out at conferences, you can find them at networking events, you can find them at companies right in your backyard. If you can't easily find them, or it's going to cost you a lot of time and money to find them, that's probably not a great place to focus. The next question you need to ask yourself is, do they have money to spend? Now, don't get me wrong, I know many of us want to help all sorts of organizations that are out there, but let's look, for example, at the millions of very, very small nonprofits around the world that have maybe only a handful of employees, very little budget inside their organization. Chances are good they don't have the budget to work with an outside expert like you. So that's going to set your business up for failure from the get-go because you're focusing on a target market that simply doesn't have the budget to buy from you. It's one of the reasons we love teaching small business owners how to sell to corporate and B2B clients, because those organizations are large enough that they not only have the budget to buy from you once, they have the budget to keep working with you for years and years and years. So this is a really important thing to consider. Next, and very importantly, have they shown that they spend money fixing the problem that you intend to solve, that your firm has expertise in solving? If they have shown time and again that they do not, as a group of companies, tend to spend any money on X, Y, and Z, you do not want to be the person that's spending the time and money to convince them otherwise. Please don't do that to yourself. And lastly, have they shown they make repeat purchases and or follow-on purchases when buying the thing that you sell? Because you also don't want to build a business that is set up around once and done dead-end opportunities. The costliest thing that you do in your business is acquire a new client. So you want to make sure when you get that client, A, that they can spend money at the level that's actually required to put a dent in the problem that you're there to help them with, and B, that they can keep buying from you long term. Otherwise, typically what will happen is it will cost you more money to acquire that client than you're ever going to actually make off the client. And you don't have to be a math wizard to figure out that if it costs you more to get a client and deliver services to that client than what they're paying you, you are very quickly in the red in your business. You are literally with a bankrupt business. So really important questions that you need to ask yourself about your target market or target markets that you're looking to go after. All right, from here, I want you to now head over to wincorporateclients.com. There you'll be able to download the special quick start guide that I wrote for you about how to build $1 million boutique firm. It starts in part on making sure that you have a profitable target market, but there is so much more to the equation than that, and I laid that out for you there. Plus, I want to keep this conversation going. There's more I have to share with you on this. So from here, head over to how entrepreneurs can productize their expertise. Because on one hand, you've got to have that good target market, but you also have to have service offerings that scale with you, don't always require your presence in order to make money. So that's what I'm going to share with you there. I went ahead and dropped that link right in the description below. So click on that and we'll keep the conversation going.